active Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, and crosswatchers. Welcome to your Timeless Work, Career, and Vocation reading. I am your reader, Mark Angelo Lyons, Mal for short. Professional witch, professional intuitive, president of Drawing the Circle Productions since 1998, author of Words of Grace. From a Professional Witch. It's available on Kindle. There's a link in the description box, and if you click it, you can preview the first bunch of it for free. And I love that book. It's learned quite a bit along the way. I was glad to share those words of grace. Being a professional witch, talk about work, career, vocation. I'm also on Patreon, by the way. I always mention it because I love it so much. As a mystical artist, a spiritual teacher, a professional intuitive, blah, blah, blah. We're having a field day over there. Keep getting more subscribers. I'm really enjoying it over there. All of my subscribers, regardless of level of subscription, get the extended readings, and there's a lot of them, past, present, and future. Part 1's on YouTube, part 2 on Vimeo.com, blessed be Vimeo.com if you want to pay per view, but all of them across the board get all the extended readings, as well as they get the daily check-ins, every single one of them. All of my subscribers have access to me every morning in a daily check-in, unlisted YouTube live stream link just for us. We every now and again on a Sunday we'll make one public after we're done with it to show people what we do. But we talk about the day's astrological weather, the magical applications, the spiritual implications, always ending with a little prayer, a little blessing, a little something, something to send us on our way. And it is my favorite way to start the day, and I'm getting better with the fact that that rhymes. It's just a great time over there. We're doing a lot of exclusive stuff. There's a whole menu. Seekers, humans, heroes, angels, witches, immortals, mystics, gods, goddesses. Gods, goddesses is the top tier. They get everything on there and a spectrum in between. So if you want a deeper dive, more magic, more miracles, more mysticism, more Mal. Apparently I'm really good at what I do. Yay. Come play chat on Patreon, because I'm the Archangel of Lyons, Mark Angelo Lyons. But you may have heard, you can just call me Mal, because they're my initials, and it's fine to call me Mal. Plenty of people do, except my mom and my family members, because they refuse. But enough about me. Let's talk about this read and get down to business, as it were, my Saggies and Crosswatchers. This is a 3-level of power reading. 3 levels of power I learned from Carolyn Myss. MYSS is her last name. She is a PhD. These are her archetype cards. And there's a link in the description box to a video that she did lecturing on the 3 levels of power, 3 archetypal lenses through which you can view many different aspects of life, the universe, and everything. Douglas Adams came out of nowhere, but that's okay. It's a Sagittarius read. Expect the unexpected. We are going to be looking at your life purpose, the soul contracts you agreed to before coming into this one, in terms of your work, how you survive in the world, right? The work you do in the world. Your career, which is different than work. Lots of artists have day jobs, right? So that they can do their art, their career, their passion, their hunger, their thirst. And your vocation, your spiritual calling, your spiritual mystical stuff, bringing all that into alignment. Yeah, it is all one thing, but seeing it through these 3 lenses, there are chakras involved, you'll see if you're new to this, to help you bring it into alignment, because you have free will to not delay what can't be prevented in your own alchemy. From the archetypal point of view of spiritual alchemy, shadow to light, lead to gold, pain to peace, toxic to healthy, poor to prosperous, right? I don't do money readings because it's in there. It's in there. So that's why, it's a general read. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't, check your other signs. Certainly look for repetition of archetypal name in the titles. If you see it and it clicks, by all means. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, though, I find for myself, my Virgo Sun dominantly heads towards work. My Pisces Moon usually hits vocation. And, my Venus in Libra, somewhere in the middle, right? In the creative fun part. So my job in this is to help you fulfill your life purpose by fulfilling mine, doing this, because this is what I do. So cross-watchers, right? You could be watching for somebody at work, right? You can totally just know that you can contribute in this too by taking this in to your own energy field if you so choose, right? So both feet on the floor if you can. Focus on your breath if you will. And I will do my best to make this fun and get you the clarity, guidance, and grace that I can do and what I do best. because I love Sagittarius, as y'all tend to be fun. Please take a nice deep breath. And let's see what hits the table, because the shift from explanation to divination happens in the still point. Still point. Using the Caroline Myss archetype cards. I call upon the collective pantheons of the divine for the Sagittarius collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, and cross-watchers. Watching this video, receiving this reading, I need 3 Caroline Myss archetype cards to show us the dominant soul power archetype in the 8th chakra for their work, career, and vocation. We're going to lay them down, face down, work, career, vocation, but then we're going to turn over, read them, vocation, career, work. So, first level of power, work, survival intuition, how they survive in the world. Lower 3 chakra, masculine energy dominant, but what's the 8th chakra that will be affecting the the archetypal soul power, sending down the beam from the 8th chakra, shifting the electromagnetic frequencies, what they attract, what they repel in their work as they do the alchemy. Oh, what's going on? Second level of power, their career, their passion, their hunger, their thirst, heart, throat, third eye, crown chakra, internal feminine energy, internal passion, hunger, thirst. What's the dominant 8th chakra archetype there in the career and in the vocation, the spiritual calling, 8th chakra dominant, 3rd level of power, their spiritual power, their mystical power, their higher vibrational, higher self-unity. Who'sy, what's this? I'll take that in this timeless work, career, vocation reading. Now, you already know these. They're in the title. So let's see how brave you are. A detective, storyteller, prostitute. Whoa! Hey, look, everybody's got the prostitute archetype. It's one of the 4 survival archetypes. But, you know, if you don't know that and you clicked on, I'm proud of you. All archetypes are neutral, no matter what they sound like. The light is magnificent, the shadow is toxic, but we're going to work with the language of spiritual alchemy, lead to gold. Lead having 3 more atoms than gold must be released, right? Can't be created or destroyed, only changed, transformed, alchemized, refined. Pick your language. And it's all a percentage scale, and you can have an archetype a reason, a season, or a lifetime. So let's dive in. A mystical spiritual detective. Love that for a Sagittarian. That's right on target. Now, the shadow attribute written on the card talks about the lead, the light, the gold, and we're all somewhere in between these, reason, season, lifetime. I like percentage scales. They make more sense. So, the shadow attribute, voyeurism and falsifying information. It just always hits me right in the third eye. Gladys Kravitz from Bewitched, right? And just always, she's right there for me every single time. The light attribute that you're shooting for here, the gold. Great powers of observation and intuition, desire to seek out the truth with these little gray cells. Yeah, I'm a little bit of an Agatha Christie MC beaten murder mystery devotee at this stage of my life. I never saw that coming because I have the detective archetype. It comes in for reasons. It does, you know, for a day or two, it comes and goes, but a week later it could come back again, right? So, desire to seek out the truth. Great powers of observation and desire to seek out the truth. Hastings. Oh, David Suchet, blessed be. So, things. Spiritual detective here. In your vocation. I'm not saying it's your lifelong calling. I'm saying it's a power you're developing in your vocation. Now, the storyteller, by the way, this is a wisdom family archetype. There are 9 different families, groups. This is the creative family of archetypes, and it's in your creative zone, your career. So the shadow attribute of the storyteller is making up tales that harm others. Liar, liar, pants on fire, your nose is longer than a telephone wire. Thank you, Debbie Harry. The light attribute, ability to experience and express life through stories and symbols. Now, I have a touch of the storyteller archetype because it's exactly what I'm doing right now, reading tarot, archetypal studies. I mean, if you want to go Jungian, forever young, right? That can play itself out creatively in so many different ways, right? Even if it's telling your own life story, fictional. Oh, when I write my autobiography, God, have I got stories to tell. I write one about my career because it reads like fiction, but it happened. Then I'll novelize it later, when I'm retired. Like, that's going to happen. I love what I do. So, look, this is a very, very powerful thing, but get that in the light, it's creative. In the shadow, it's destructive. Particularly the Gladys Kravitz thing. The prostitute archetype, let's talk about it. 4 archetypes in the survival family. Everybody has them. They're the trunk of the archetypal tree, because the rest of the branches won't survive unless that is healthy, archetypally speaking. The child, the victim, the saboteur, and the prostitute, they don't sound great. Watch a video on Sacred Contracts by Carolyn Myss. This is life-changing stuff if you're up for it. So the prostitute is the guardian of faith and of comfort, because we will negotiate our faith for comfort. As a matter of fact, the shadow attribute places material considerations and security above self-empowerment. Let's unpack this for a second. In work, where you survive, this is a survival family archetype in the how you survive in the world, lower 3 chakra dominant. Those cards will hit the table eventually in this reading. How many people, I've done it myself, right? You stay in the job, in the toxic situation, but particularly in the toxic work situation, for the money, for the health insurance, for whatever. I get it. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying, wait till you hear the light. Accentuates the challenge of surviving without negotiating the power of your spirit. Now, if you are in a situation where you feel like you are prostituting yourself to a person, a place, a thing, a corporation, or whatever in your workaday world, you are not alone. So alchemizing this for yourself, even a little bit, moves everything forward, shifts you to a more golden timeline. So it doesn't mean you have to quit the job, right? Everybody's, well, then I have to quit the job. Not necessarily. I've been in horrible jobs that the guidance was always, oh no, you see your way through this. It is a hero's journey sometimes. So to say, I'm going to bless the crap out of these people when I'm not there. And when I'm there, I don't know, well, I'm a witch. You never know what's in the jewelry I'm wearing, do you? So the challenge, that's just it. It is a challenge, and it is a survival challenge. So don't freak out about the word prostitute. That's why, Carolyn Myss, bless her heart, she's only one of the 2 people on planet Earth currently incarnate that intimidate me. The other is Chrissy Hines of the Pretenders. I love her, but just don't piss her off. Okay, it's still true. So is that still true? Muscle testing? Yeah, that's still true. So we've got our archetypal skeleton, if you will, on the table. That's as much as we talk about any of the cards. Oh, I forgot to say, this is a 13-card spread. Everybody gets the same decks for the first 12. The 13th card is from a wild deck. I tune in between when I'm setting up. I'm like, who wants to be number 13? And you got the Archangel Fire Oracle, and I'm sure it's for the fire part of it, you being fire signs, but it felt right, so I said yes. So you've got the patterns, the orders, the signals coming down from the satellite of the 8th chakra with the detective, storyteller, and prostitute. Let's see what's going on under that. The creative intuition, 2nd level career dominant, but we're going to look at how that influences all 3. Please take a nice deep breath. Still point. I call upon my goddesses of fire, the sign of Sagittarius, powers of the south, please, goddesses of mutable fire, ever-changing, ever-shifting, ever-transforming fire. Please, 3 cards face down. Work, career, vocation for the Scorpio, Sagittarius collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs and cross-watchers watching this video and receiving this reading in this, their life purpose contract. Just this reason, this season, or this lifetime that they need to catch. They got the prostitute in their survival, in their work, and that is, probably predominant on planet Earth, considering what's going on? What do they need to be aware of inside to alchemize out from shadow to light, lead to gold, pain to peace, toxic to healthy, blah, blah, blah. In their career, they got the storyteller, a creative archetype. In their creative intuition, heart, third eye crown dominant. That should be interesting to see. And in their vocation, the detective. You know, I love the detective archetype. You couldn't hide anything from me as a kid, but it comes and goes in reasons for me. For them, it's in their vocation. So there's something about finding truth here if they want it. Give them a clue, a tip, a hint. What do they need on the inner to alchemize that? Heart, third eye crown, because that's the next card to be turned over, and I love it for you, the Three of Pentacles. A Ruru clay woman. She takes dirt, sifts out the clay from the dirt, molds it, pounds it, puts it into a place, and creates with it, right? So the detective, earth on the inner, is that you have a foundational wisdom. You got enough clues, in other words, of experiences from being in the world, other people, other places, other things here, that spiritually this is a nice, solid foundation. Now, it hasn't been put in the kiln yet, the fire, to be turned into something permanent and solid. But she does take the dirt beneath her feet and make something beautiful and practical out of it. So, you know, inner truth, spiritual truth, what have you. Nice solid foundation, mutable earth. I'm a Virgo, mutable earth, so I love this card. And I love the idea of literally, it's alchemy in process, right? Transforming it from one thing to another, because you can't unbake clay. So deep. Dance like no one is watching. Aristotle. Well, in your creativity, in your career, you got the storyteller with the high priestess, Isis. When it's a major arcana card in a chakra read, the way I do it, it's all four of those. In this case, if it was lower three chakras, mythic tarot, it would be all three of those. You are channeling in something. You are channeling in something. Be very, very careful of the stories that you tell yourself. Look, if this is not a full-on spiritual, metaphysical, new age kind of thing, I know a lot of people in the industry, be very, very careful of high priestess syndrome, right? It is very, very easy to tell yourself stories because the ego will tell you stories. You're unstoppable, which is very different than you're unlimited and I love you, right? The ego on this side, the soul on this side, and the hero has to listen, right? So the ego's going, you're the best one that's ever been. No one does. And this one's like, hey man, roll one. Right? And only one of those can be true. Which one you're going to listen to? So the high priestess is about stillness, is about subconscious knowledge, is about that silence within, not all day, obviously, but for that alignment. It is the radar dish, if you will, the receptive, the divine feminine, and the maiden of the maiden, Mother Crone, and Daughters of the Moon Tarot. So this is before us, the Horus. Stupid, oh please forgive me. No, my gods know I have a sense of humor, and usually it's them. It's probably what they say to each other. It flies out my mouth. But I love that. So yeah, no, you might not be saying a damn word about a thing, right? Particularly with the prostitute archetype, if you're trying to get out of a situation that, you know, is not for you. Faith versus comfort, we'll talk about it, right? To strengthen your faith there, then I would think high priestess on the inner, storyteller, maybe Isis, or the high priestess. That intuition, that creative intuition, can help you either turn this into a story, or you see the story that's there and you live through it. You don't know how many times I have found myself in Cinderella, no shit, archetypally, and once I saw it I was like, oh no, I looked at what I was wearing. I even had my hair back in a bandana. It was my old apartment. I was like, oh my god, right? Archetypal vision is very powerful here. And archetypal vision is not the same thing as clairvoyance by a stretch. Anybody can learn and develop archetypal vision. Carolyn Myss, she's a miracle. I love her. Let's talk about this prostitute, though. Ooh, 7 of Cups on the inner. Yeah, there's all sorts of feelings here and all sorts of options. It's cloudy. You're not exactly sure how you feel. You know what you want, kind of, sort of. It feels very heart chakra. So look, the discomfort that you're experiencing, because if you think about it, well, I know, it's toxic, but, the money. And I understand that. That's completely valid. However, that doesn't mean you got to leave the job. Like I said, can you accentuate the challenge of surviving whatever is going on here without negotiating the power of your spirit. Negotiating means you have a price. What's your price? Now, it may not be financial, right? And you know, lower 3 chakras on this one is going to be very elucidating, I would think. But I will also say, the key word written on this card is jealousy. Now, this might not be you necessarily being jealous, but if you're jealous of somebody's power over you, look at the flavor of power they're serving. Shadow or light, lead or gold, pain or peace, villain or hero. I don't know, the golden prostitute, which still sounds like the hooker with the heart of gold. Deal with that, right? Because, you know, look what I do for a living, right? I could totally, you know, if I wanted to, I tried. It burnt me out. I couldn't do it. My soul wouldn't put up with it. You know, like doing, like, let's just say cheapy tarot things online. Like, it's not. I've been doing this for too long. I started when I was 12 years old reading tarot. I'm 54. Yeah, I know. I don't look at things. Right, burned out like tarot hooker. No, I have my integrity and I have my faith. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm willing to be shown the grace of humility. I start and end my book, Words of Grace, on the grace of humility, which allows me a lot of leeway with the divine. I get to have a little bit more fun, maybe a lot of bit more fun. So if there is jealousy on the table here within you, or if you're sensing that, regardless, the 7 of Cups is a very dreamy kind of card. So the stories that you're telling yourself are contributing to that. But you have a nice solid foundation in your vocation as the detective to actually get to the truth. But I would say at 3 of Pentacles, you don't have all of it just yet. But let's see if we can get you some more. But wait, there's more. Book me for private readings. See, it's like, ugh, I can't do that. I'm too much fun for that. All right. I'll say it at the end of the video, though, because, you know, I'm a Virgo. We're going to use the Mythic Tarot for lower 3 chakras, the masculine, the yang. The outside looking in at you, you from the inside looking out at people, places, and things. Lower 3 chakras are about relationships in the world. Solar plexus, relationship to yourself. 2nd chakra, relationship, money, sex, power, and other individuals. Lower 3 chakra, groups, tribes, places, corporations, your physical body, and relationship to the world, and all of that. Let's see what hits the table. Please take a nice deep breath. Still point. Yeah, I'm ready. Let's throw some lightning. As I call upon my gods of fire, sign of Sagittarius, powers of the south, please, beloved gods of mutable fire. 3 cards in clarity, face down. Lower 3 chakra. Outside looking in, inside looking out. Masculine dynamic for this Sagittarius collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, and cross-watcher. Work, career, vocation, read. Timeless-Work-Career-Vocation, read. They have got the Prostitute in the 8th chakra of their work. 7 of Cups on the inner. Really, this will help clarify that. Lower 3 chakras. Got Storyteller in their career. In the 8th, Isis, the High Priestess, really seriously spiritual channel, but I ain't talking about it, and that's probably wise. In their creative middle lane there. And they got the Detective in the 8th of their vocation, 8th chakra dominant. This might very well be their leverage. You should tinker with this one. The other ones will fall into line little by little. Detective in the 8th, because of that 3 of Pentacles on the inner. What's going on the outer, please? What's this look like? Lower 3 chakras for their vocation. Excellent. Your vocation, Detective in the 8th. 3 of Pentacles on the inner. Ace of Cups, Aphrodite, sweet and flighty, hanging out in her see-through nighty with a gigantic cup of something, a cup of love, a seed of love. I love that. Now look, this cup, yes, could be given to you, could be given from you, but definitely it is a seed of emotion. You get to feel the way you feel about this, but understand Yet what goes on in your heart, throat, third eye, crown, you may not have all the information. Hence, your ability, intuition, and observation to seek out the truth would be clear in that. Particularly if this is like, oh, I would love to do that. I know some stuff about that, right? It's like now Hastings. Oh dear, I love Agatha Christie. Let's move on. I just flashed back in time. I'm back. Storyteller in the 8th, High Priestess in the career on the inner, and you got the star on the outer. There's been a lot of this in this series, a lot of major arcana, inner and outer, in one particular level of power. So, radiant much? Look, you don't have to do much in your career right now to shine. Except not talk about it. Right? To bring through the end. Now look, if light is truth, symbolically, has been for a really long time. I didn't just make that up on a post-it this morning, right? So the detective seeks truth, so brings things into the light. Well, this is your lower 3 chakras saying that the guidance, the grace, the light, the truth is there. And yes, there is a cause for hope here. Sure, there is a possible wish fulfillment here. Just don't talk about it yet, right? Feel it. I know, it's hard, Saggies. You guys, well, you're the archers for the reason. Right? those lightning bolts, those flaming arrows of truth, right? That fly out your mouth. They make you fun to be around with when you're in a good mood, let's face it. And the stories that you tell as a result. So, I would be very, very careful. Bro, that's why. This is a storyteller archetype. Write it down, right? Write it down, record it somehow, and hide it. But it does feel like if you have the opportunity to free yourself from this and really focus on this, that's pretty powerful. But I still think here is your leverage, because you have everything you need. It really depends on, well, making up tales that harm others. Has that happened to you? Have you done it to others? I'm not saying it's about karma necessarily, but I'm saying there's something very, very powerful here about your light, your truth shining through. And maybe that's it. It is your radiance, your innocence, right? The innocence of the maiden, the priestess. Let's look at the work. Prostitute in the 8th. 7 of Cups on the outer. Woo, okay. King of Wands. Only court card. No. No. It's the only court card on the table here. King of Wands, the Aries card. This could be a boss. This could be somebody outside of you. On the dominant side, well, I don't want to down talk any sign, but if that is the case and you're dealing with that situation, well, they're the children of the zodiac. First house, self, personality, ego. Look, that could be a real challenge if you've got like an alpha on the scene. Now, they don't have to be in Aries. I'm sure some of you are like, oh my God, they're in Aries, right? But that could also be you from the outside looking in at yourself, of saying, no, cardinal fire, I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to initiate. I'm doing this for me. And if that were the case, that would be very look at me, solar plexus dominant, right? The thing like, no, my gut is saying no. Your solar plexus will tell you when you're violating your ethical code, when you are negotiating the power of your spirit personally. And only you, and you can delay shifting it to gold. Fine, everybody does. We've been doing it on the planet Earth for a very, very long time. But here is the alchemy for you to find a way to survive based in faith, which, I suppose you don't have to have faith that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, because that would be false faith, because it doesn't. The planet turns on an axis. Let's see what's there, Terry Pratchett. Thank you, Granny Weatherrocks. See what's there. Or was that Mystic? I can't remember. But to have the faith that there is something that you are here to do in this world, and you don't have to negotiate. It's okay to be uncomfortable, but it's not right to, there are situations we are literally supposed to not prostitute ourselves in anymore and walk away as an act of faith. So you see how that could be both? Could be somebody toxic you're dealing with, could maybe even represent a corporation that's doing that. Yeah. And you get to kind of head it on your own. But get the truth, keep it quiet, shine your light, work. We're not done. We get 3. Count them, 3 Matt Kahn healing mantras. We're not doing the bookie book. These readings are long enough. But we will be doing the bookie book for the Archangel Fire Oracle. Besides, I've had these cards for like over 3 years. I've worked all of these mantras into my cell tissue with breath work and Wim Hof and Ho'oponopono, which I'm just calling Wim Ho for short. Please take a nice deep breath. I am the fun one. Still point. Nothing like an eclectic witch. As I call upon the ascended masters of life purpose. They're allowed to be wise asses. They're ascended masters. The ascended masters of life purpose through the archetypal lenses and contracts of work, career, and vocation. Please, I'll try and do these with my eyes closed so I don't see what they are. The 3 perfect healing mantras for the Sagittarius Collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, and cross watchers watching this video and receiving this reading. The perfect healing mantra to help them alchemize the shadow to light, lead to gold, pain to peace, toxic to healthy in their work, prostitute in the 8th, 7 of Cups on the inner, which might be, I don't know what I'm feeling. It's confusing and dreamy and weird. But the King of Wands, oh, they could have a dream of something that they really want to do, and so they don't want to prostitute themselves anymore, but they have to choose the thing to do it and move forward, and only they can do that. So if that is the case, maybe not for everybody, but the perfect healing mantra to help them bring their work into health and alignment. And please, same thing for the career. They've got the Storyteller in the 8th, High Priestess on the inner, and the Star on the outer. Perfect healing mantra for that. And for the vocation, they have got the Detective in the 8th. Clay Woman, 3 of Pentacles, my favorite minor arcana card in that deck. Clay Woman, Aruru on the inner. And Aphrodite, sweet and flighty, hanging out by the beach in a see-through nightie with a gigantic, could be a margarita, I'm not so sure, Ace of Cups on the outer. The perfect healing mantra for them in their vocation in this Timeless Work-Career-Vocation read. Interesting. Demystifying the darkness. My shadow shows me where my love needs to be sent. So, gee, what was that shadow again, Gladys? Voyeurism, falsifying information. Now, I'm not saying necessarily everybody doing that, but I'm saying if that's what happened, you gotta go and find those places in you that are dealing with that, that are feeling that, and find the truth that's in there. Often it's not about what happened, it's about an energy pattern that we have had, an archetypal lesson that we have had, sometimes for lifetimes. We keep coming back to get these right. So just spiritually seeking out the truth, because there is a cup of love, right? So my shadow shows me where my love needs to be sent. And shadow work, alchemy, inner child work, Gestalt therapy, call it what you want. Forgiveness work, Course in Miracles does essentially the same thing, different approach. Lots of ways to do that, and you get to play with it. You get to play with it. You don't have to do this. Isn't a weekend workshop. This is a vocation. You're really finding your truth, because your shadow is those parts of yourself that you don't want to acknowledge, you don't want to look at, don't want to deal with, so you push it back in the shadow. Or if you are dealing with it, you don't want anybody to know about it, right? I get it. We all have that stuff. But there's also the collective shadow. So this is, again, why when we alchemize something just a little bit, we shift timelines, which means the entire collective unconscious moves everybody forward, except on those other timelines. Pump up the jam. Let's keep moving. Because is this a simulation of me? Why would the simulation have me ask you these questions about this being a simulation? Kunk on Earth. Storyteller in the 8th in your career. High Priestess on the inner, Star on the outer. Expanding inner power. I am my most powerful when my creativity is given a voice. So take the time to do that. It doesn't invalidate that High Priestess. It's just saying, throat chakra, make sure it's in alignment before you put it out there in the world. This could very easily be somebody in the entertainment industry, showbiz, because of that, either as a writer, but you know, They really just want to direct. So stupid, but yet so true. Nothing can be true and stupid. A lot can be true and stupid. So expanding inner power, talk about third chakra, right? I am at my most powerful when my creativity is given a voice, but I suggest you take your time to do that and alchemize it. Particularly if some shit went down. Just saying, here, I'm a Virgo, I gotta put them in the rain to be completely symmetrical, but it does help. Okay, in your work, prostitute, remember, everybody has this. Everybody has a price. They say, well, do you? And with that Seven of Cups, are you willing to sacrifice your dream? Maybe. You feel a little cloudy, a little unsure. Well, only you can do this. The Aries, the King of Wands on the outer, or you're dealing with somebody who is not fun to deal with. Well, you're rewiring the nervous system. You're finding strength surviving your traumas. I find strength in surviving my traumas. I find strength. So, I don't know if this is the case for everybody, but I will say your work situation might very well be tapping you into past trauma. Now, I said this I guess I did the Scorpio reading before this one, because they got this card in their vocation. I don't think that's violating confidentiality. It's a recording on YouTube. The original meaning of trauma was a wound that can't be healed. Traumatic brain injuries, right? Just one example. I could go on, I won't, but I could. But with the prostitute archetype, we can have all sorts of traumas just trying to survive in the world, and I gotta tell you, to find the truth there, to demystify the darkness there spiritually, to those places, the lead, if you will, the inner child stuff, whatever, that's really success in this world. Because the more you alchemize something on the inside, sometimes it's a split second something alchemizes. Everything changes in the outside world. For the better, always, but we don't always see it that way. Because it can be uncomfortable. Negotiating faith for comfort. Got it? You find strength in surviving your traumas, and this ain't your first time on planet Earth. And this is a traumatic planet. There are other planets, apparently, that are called paradise planets. Everybody knows they're all one. It's sort of obvious, but you still have different bodies. What are those beach resorts like? I want to remember, because I think that's where I come from. It sounds like my gig. Well, I'm a Lyrian starseed if I'm anything. Look it up. Meow. Okay, so you're healing your work by rewiring your nervous system. You're aligning your career by expanding your inner power. You're bringing your vocation together by demystifying the darkness, and how you bring these three together. Your shadow is showing you where your love needs to be sent. You're most powerful when your creativity is given a voice and you find strength in surviving your traumas. Doesn't that make sense? Last card down. This one needs a little archangelic help, you think? Everybody's got angels and archangels and all that. They're just higher aspects of self, celestial choirs and whatnot. We're all one, but the archangels are kind of fun. They are like arcs of angels. It's a long story. Let's see if we had some feline intervention going on in the kitchen. I think we do. So just one of these, the Archangel Fire Oracle, Alexandra Wenman. Oh God, how could I ever forget the name? Findhorn, Scotland, Findhorn Publishing. I love Findhorn. I would love to go. I haven't been in this life, but I would love to. I'm sure, I don't know, raised goats or something 10,000 years ago there or something. So let's see who's the archangel assigned to your contracts and see what they have to say to help you do the alchemy here. Sorry, again, it's a Virgo thing. It's not OCD. I just like things to be visually pleasing whenever possible. Still point. Last card down. I call to the pantheon of archangels, please, beloved celestials. The arcs of angels, each of you with a specific terrain, region, location, aspect of the divine as messengers, please. One card in clarity, last card down for the Sagittarius Collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, and cross watchers watching this video, receiving this reading. Who is the angel assigned to this case, and what is their guidance, their grace, their love, their wisdom, their power, their oracle message to help the Sag and the Cross Watchers alchemize the shadow to light, lead to gold, pain to peace, toxic to healthy. Toxic to healthy is probably if that really is an abusive boss or coworker or something. With that Aries, right? The poverty to prosperity, right? The myth to joy, the dulling their light to shining their light, their lead to gold, in this timeless. Oh, Saint Germain, Zadkiel in this timeless work, career, vocation, right? He's hot. Saint Germain is hot. I mean, he was a count. He was French. And it's probably about forgiveness and transformation. Oh, please, what a deep dive into the tinfoil hat woo-woo land. You just Google Saint Germain and the words violet flame and buckle up. Buckle up. Oh, I've got Elizabeth Clare Prophet stories back from the 90s. She's no longer alive, so I guess she can't sue me from the afterworld. Let's wait till that book comes out. That's going to be there's a whole chapter in my autobiography about the New Age and how I survived it. Card number 26, Zadkiel, Z-A-D-K-I-L. To me, he's the archangel of the crown chakra. Freedom and transmutation. Now look, freedom is a Sagittarius thing. It just is. Like, anything you read about Sagittarians, it's all about their free spirits. Great. Great. I love you for it. But transmutation, we are talking alchemy, shown here as the ascended master of Saint-Germain, the great alchemist. Zadkiel's name means grace of God. Oh, that's lovely. Or righteousness of God. He is the angel of freedom, benevolence, transfiguration, and forgiveness. He helps release negativity and transmutes limiting beliefs and thought patterns so we can live a life of freedom. This begins with holding ourselves in forgiveness. Well, there you go. There's the alchemy. There it is. Call to Zadkiel. The message: free yourself from limitations. Imprisonment is an illusion, for no one can imprison your heart or mind. Choose to feel free and allow any perceived blocks to dissolve. Well, ain't that just what's on the table, particularly if you find yourself in a toxic work scenario with a person. It does feel like a person, but then again, it could be an entire industry, right? That's why the lower three chakras, relationships in the world, and I think that even speaks to your own solar plexus. Of your solar plexus will tell you if you're getting ulcers, if you're getting an upset stomach like repeatedly, and you changed your diet but your work life is a nightmare. You're rewiring the nervous system. You are surviving your traumas and finding immense strength of it, but strength enough to walk away if necessary and start your own thing, because what you've got here in this Storyteller is incredibly powerful. High Priestess on the inner, Star on the outer, expanding your inner power by the stories that you tell. But it feels like the detective with the pentacles on the inner and the Ace of Cups on the outer, demystifying darkness with alchemy. This is alchemy. This is shadow work. Feels like that's your leverage. But you do you. So, even though I just did it in a summary there, I'm going to do a blessed summation. It's a combination of a blessing and a summation, and I love it. Because I never know what's going to come out of my mouth. Well, usually I know what's going to come out of my mouth, but if you saw the amount of prayer and breath work I do before I do these readings, I'm like, wow, I don't remember saying that at all, because I don't like calling myself a channel. I'm a vessel. I'm a metal vessel. Sorry, I'm watching Magi again. I needed a shift. Shall we? And then at the end of this, I will release you all by letting any residual goofy out of my cell tissue, and maybe we'll talk about getting you a reading if you want one. Third chakra. Oh, excuse me. Please take a nice deep breath. You come back because I'm fun. I happen to also be accurate is helpful. Still point. As I call upon the collective pantheons of the divine, and I mean this from my heart, for the Sagittarius collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, and cross watchers watching this video and receiving this reading, may they be blessed with all that they need in their vocation with their great powers of observation and intuition and their desire to seek out the truth, calling them forward to take what they've learned, to take the wisdom inside of themselves, sort of massage it, give it shape, give it form, and give it a cup of love as they demystify their own darkness. Because their shadow will show them exactly where their where their love needs to be sent spiritually, so that creatively in their career they embrace their ability to experience and express life through stories and symbols. Like maybe they're on a hero's journey. Well, that's pretty ancient. Thank you, Joseph Campbell. Please pick up the courtesy telephone. With that silence, that stillness, that intuitive, bringing it together, their creative heart, their third eye crown intuition just lining up and lit on the outside. The guidance, the grace is there. There is reason to hope. There is reason to have faith. Not reason necessarily purpose, that maybe they're feeling it down there. And if I would think that would feel good, or they're just radiating their light at full capacity, which is lovely. They need to document that as they expand their inner power, because they're at their most powerful when their creativity is given a voice, so that they can really accentuate the challenge of surviving without negotiating the power of their spirit. It may be cloudy, and there may be murky, and there may be some fantasies, some illusions emotionally going on here. If it is an emotionally charged situation, or maybe they just have a dream they don't necessarily know how to bring into physical form. So whether the King of Wands is an intimidator, a narcissist, someone being selfish, a toxic boss, or maybe a leader that's actually helping them do this, because that's a whole other way to. It could still be them with their own creative cardinal fire moving them forward, really clarifying that they have the strength and the personal power to do this, because they find strength in surviving their traumas, and all through freedom, and all for freedom via transmutation, transfiguration, transformation, forgiveness, setting themselves free. And you don't got to break every link in a chain. You just got to break one. Little by little, step by step, help them, give them all that they need to alchemize the shadow to light, lead to gold, pain to peace, toxic to healthy in this detective, storyteller, prostitute contract for freedom. For them, for the people in their lives, for planet Earth, for the well-being of all, and with harm to none, as we will it. So let it be done. So would it be. So it is. It was nice. It was tricky. Yeah, but it's never a hero's journey without a villain, a villain, a vampire, a demon, a dragon. You know, otherwise what's the point? It's just boring. And you don't like boring, do you, Saggy? But if you like the video, you can hit the thumbs up and help other Sagittarians find them. I'm no longer monetized on YouTube. So that's what it does. It literally helps put it out into the world so other people can see it. It's over on Patreon, and I love it so much. No, really, seriously, it's $3 Seeker. Lowest tier, I don't like to call it the bottom tier. Not everybody's a bottom. I'm not. $3 a month gets you the extendeds and the daily check-ins, which are a lot of fun. And every now and again, we release one on a Sunday. Go look on my back catalog here on YouTube. You'll see we've released a bunch. We don't do it every Saturday, though. We're picky. We feel it out. But we're also doing such cool stuff over there. I love it so much. And really, as a creative type, I highly recommend it to anybody. And if you'd like to book me for a private reading, because I've been doing work, career, vocation reading since I learned about this stuff back in the 90s, sacred contracts, 3 levels of power, and all that jazz. There's a link in the description box. Booking a reading with Mel will explain everything that you need to know about booking a reading with Mel, so you can just reach out and we can get it booked, because clients come first. And I love you, Sagittarius. I have a bunch of Sagittarian friends, and I've worked with a lot of Sagittarians. They're fun on breaks, absolutely, no question. Little mini adventures on a 10-15 minute break. Be surprised what you can get done with an archer. Sploosh. I love you all. Hang in there, alchemize this, do this, free yourselves, free your mind, and the rest will follow. I love you. Hail. Farewell. And blessed, blessed be.